Welcome to First Love Yourself, where like Christ meets self-love, self-care, and healing. I am Trinisha Cottrell, and this is First Love Yourself. Welcome. Today I wanted to talk about be careful what you pray for. And I know you're probably thinking, okay, well, when I'm praying for something, I know what I want. I want this, this, and this, and I want God to give it to me in this time, in this order. I want it like this. I don't want it like that. And it's cool that you're praying for the things that you want. It means that you have faith for something. It means that you're believing in God for something. That you're saying, God, I know that you can make this happen. So here's my list. But maybe instead of saying, here's my list, say, God, here's what I plan for my life. These are the things that I want, that I aspire to have in my life. But if you can't do it, if it's not your will, then give me what it is that you desire for my life. Make my desires equal your desires. And it's hard because sometimes you want something so badly. I really want that piece of cake, but God's saying, okay, you might be able to have a cake every once in a while, but you can't survive on cake. You're going to need the bread of life. You're going to need the word. You're going to need to really be stewarding your body well. You're going to have to be making sure that you're taking your body as a temple and not just allowing it to be used however you feel like it needs to be used. It's supposed to be used in the way that God sees fit for it to be used. And sometimes when we're living life, our flesh wants things that God doesn't desire for us. We want the guy that God never intended to be our husband or to be in our life in that way. We want the job because it looks flashy and it has a great title instead of the position that God has set aside for us, because it doesn't look as glamorous or it doesn't look the way that we think it should look at that moment. But I heard this funny story once, and I hope that you stay tuned in to listen to this, because let me tell you, it really hit me it hit deep. I was like, oh my gosh. There was this guy, and he was praying for more money. God, give me more money. God, give me more money. And God was like, oh, well, why do you keep asking for the same thing over and over again? He sent an angel to talk to this guy, and he said, why do you keep asking for the same thing over and over again? I already gave you what you asked for. He's like, you never gave me anything. He's like, you know what I had to eat today? He said, ramen noodles with no seasoning. He said, just the water and no noodles or something like that. So he just had like seasoned water, or he just had watery noodles, something like that. And he's like, yeah, I know what you had, and I know what you prayed for. And God already gave you that thing. He's like, the only thing that God ever gave me when I pray for financial, freedom, or I wanted all of this money, is a job opportunity at McDonald's. And he's like, or at some place, some fast food place. And he's like, but I don't want to work there. And God's like, the angel's like, little did you know, if you had taken that job at McDonald's, there was going to be the owner that was going to come into there, that was going to see talent in you and ask you to be a part of a commercial for McDonald's that would have helped you significantly financially. They would have saw you in that commercial, and then you would have had a deal with Netflix, making more money than you would ever know what to do with. And he was like, oh God, no, can you make that job come back? Because I would take it now that I know what was in store for me. But here's the thing that we don't get about faith. Faith isn't about you seeing the steps as God giving you the book and telling you this is how it's gonna go. Step 1, step 2, step 3. I just need you to do this so you can get here. He's not doing that, because that would not be faith. If we knew how it was gonna turn out, if we knew exactly how things were gonna go, and some of our egos can't handle knowing how it's gonna go either. If we know these things before God intends for us to know them, we can get so arrogant, so egotistical, and not leading in faith. We'd be leading in arrogance. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. So when we are out here having faith, even the size of a mustard seed, that means that we believe in God for whatever it is, and we have not seen it. We don't have no evidence. Like sometimes, I got this story, and it's gonna be quick because I don't want to take too much of your time. But it's funny. I was praying and I was fasting, and I was really in the single season of my life at one point before I got married and everything. And God was like, in 2 years, you're gonna be married. Like, and I don't mean God's just gonna tell everybody you're gonna be married in 2 years. You're gonna be married this day by this person in this way. But he was like, yeah, in 2 years, he just showed me, I saw like this vision. And I know I'm not trying to be all like extra spiritual or anything, but I saw this vision of me and this person walking together on a beach. And it was like, this is going to be the person that I want you to spend your life with. Like, he didn't tell me who it was, how it was going to happen. It wasn't just like magically, I just wait 2 years and it flashed by like that and it happened out of nowhere. It was like, I saw this vision of me being with someone God always put on my heart that I would be married, even when I was like so doubtful and I just was cynical about it and I just felt like it just was impossible. But all things are possible with God. And when he showed me the vision, I didn't want to believe it. I was like, okay, God, really? Like, you're telling me I'm going to be with somebody. Like, it wasn't like, and it's weird because it's not like I felt unattractive. It's not like I hadn't met people. I had met the person that God intended for me to be with, the person that was grace for me or that I was grace for. Every person I met, there was one thing that just wasn't right. Every single person. And it wasn't something insignificant, it was something major. And they were all good people, they were amazing men. But it was the one thing in my spirit that didn't set right. It was the one thing that was a core value of mine that I really, it meant a lot to me. And like for them to not be okay with that, it was a game changer. It was just like an absolute no without that thing. And each person, it was like one of those things, one of those core values, one of those really significant things that really meant a lot to me in my faith or just my mindset or just in general in my life. And I was like, God, how are you going to tell me that I'm going to be with somebody that you're saying I'm going to really be married? Like, okay. like I knew it was possible. I just didn't think that God was going to do it for me for some reason. Like, I had faith, and when I would see other people get married, or I would see other people have kids, or I would see other people like get blessed with these things from God, I would just be so happy for them. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I want every woman to be treated well. I want every woman to be like really treasured and really honored and respected and loved the way that Christ loved the church. Like, when I see a guy treating a woman like that in my past, it just gave me, it didn't give me hope, but it just made me feel so good, like knowing that there was some woman out there who was really being treated the way that I have prayed that God would allow me to be treated in my life one day. And I was just so happy for other people. It was crazy. And it's funny because I was just like, oh my gosh, I was like, God, all right, you're saying I'm gonna be with this guy. I ain't even smelt no man that even seemed like the guy that you're gonna give me in my life. So what are you talking about, Jesus? Like, I was like, God was like, you're gonna be with this person. You're gonna be with the person that I grace for you. And in my mind, I probably even rolled my eyes a little bit, like spiritually. I was like, okay, Jesus, like, all right. And then it's funny because I put it in my phone when I had the vision. Like, this is the day that you're going to be with the person that God intended for you to be with. Like, it's going to be, that's the day. You're going to be with them. You're going to be on a beach somewhere with this person, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay. I mean, and maybe God didn't mean I would just be on a beach with them, but He just showing me that I would be with my person. And no lie, when God tells you something, when you pray for something, when you ask God for something, when He's telling you that He's going to do something, know that He's going to do it, even if you don't see no evidence. Like, I ain't see no evidence of no man. My phone was dry as a Sahara desert. Like, when I tell you, it didn't seem like it was ever going to happen. Oh my gosh. I'm laughing now because I was just like, I wasn't even concerned about it. It wasn't like, oh, boo-hoo, I'm gonna cry because I just don't feel like it's possible. It was just like, okay, God, whatever. Like, I'm living my best life. Like, you done blessed me with so much, I don't even care no more. And then I go, and the day comes up, and believe it or not, it's my wedding day. It's the day that we leave to go on our honeymoon, and we're going to a beach. So the day that God told me is the day that I was with the person that God intended for me to be with. And I actually had a guy in my life who had the core values that really meant a lot to me in my life. And I never was one of those women that had a checklist, because I believe that no matter what I wrote down, God was gonna write the opposite or something else. Like, I was gonna say I want a guy, and this was never on my list because I just didn't believe in that. But it was never like the guy with six figures with a six pack and blah 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 blah. Like, I didn't care what height he was. I just wanted him to treat me really well. I just wanted to be loved like Christ loved the church. I wanted to be with someone who really did treat me the way that God intended for me to be treated as his daughter. And I wanted to be able to respect this man. Like, you gotta really be the right type of guy to be respected by me, because I don't just hand out respect to everybody. Like, you gonna really earn this respect. I say all of that to say that really God was just like, okay, I'm gonna make sure this is a kind-hearted person, a kind-hearted soul. Like, not just because he wants to be with you, he's trying to treat you right, but he's really a good person, like a really kind person. And I really appreciate that. Is he perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. Like, nobody's perfect. But what matters, that God saw it, that mattered, that what God saw as something that was significant, is what matters and what is important. And so I really want you, when you're praying for things, to know that God is listening to you. And it may not look like what you want it to look like. When you're saying, God, I wanna make this money, God might say, you might be okay making this money, but not right now. Let me show you how to be a good steward of the money that you already have. Because being rich is not just about having money in the bank, it's about being a good steward of the finances or the things that God's given you. Rich in your life means that you steward everything well, because you know how much it means for God to trust you enough with that blessing. So you're not just out here just lollygagging or just kicking rocks. You out here really putting in that work. You're really being disciplined. You're really budgeting, or really understanding that this money didn't come from nowhere. It came from a blessing from God. And if God has given it to you, it's for a reason. It's not just for you to go buy the next best thing that you think is out there. It's for God to really show you how to steward the things that you have in the best way, in the best season, in that season. I was reading in Genesis about Joseph and about the famine that came. The king had a dream and nobody could interpret it, and they remembered, oh yeah, there's this guy in prison who can interpret dreams. And Joseph went through a lot because he knew he was about to be king and he was really that guy, but everybody around him just wanted him to just be not that guy. But God said, listen, I don't care what they think. I'm going to take all of these things. Your brother's turning against you. I'm going to turn Potiphar's wife, pretending like you did something to her. I'm going to turn all of that into you being royalty. And listen, people are going to come to you for advice. Because when God puts you in a position, can't nobody take you out of it. And so he out there, and this famine comes. He interprets the dream. There's going to be 7 years of abundance. They're getting all this stuff, and then 7 years of famine. And they're going to have to steward all the things that they have really well. If he was out here balling out of control, like, all right, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, and he didn't steward it well, he would have been going through famine with the rest of the people. And he wouldn't have taken heed to the warning that God gave him. And it really goes to show that when God is blessing you with something, he's trying to allow you and teach you how to be a good steward of the things in the season that you're in, so that you can steward that season well. So when you go into the next season, you're already prepared. You have everything that you need. And when God is telling you something, listen to him. Sometimes we're like, oh, is that really God? Or we'll be like, oh yeah, okay, God, you want me to start this business? I got it. I'm starting this business. And then a month later, you don't see no revenue coming in. You're like, did God really tell me? But that's the adversary. When you know in your heart of hearts, when you know without a shadow of a doubt that it's God telling you something, and you don't just go, God says this, God says that. You really have to try the spirit by the spirit. Try the spirit by the word. Like, when you hear something, when that voice inside of your head is telling you this is going to happen, or I need you to do this, or I need you to do that, go and look up scripture, because God's character never changes. If it sounds like God, and you have three scriptures to back it up, you meditated on the word, and you really sat in prayer to really understand that God is telling you this, then it's God. If you feel confusion, I don't mean you don't know what's going to happen because we can't predict the future most of the time. I mean, you really feel peace in your heart. Peace means it's from God. That peace, the adversary can't give you that. When you feel confusion, doubt, when you feel like sadness or like you just so stressed out about it, it's probably not from God. God is not going to give you something to torment you. He's giving you it to bless you. And is it going to be easy? No. But when you steward it well, you'll be able to sustain through into the next thing that God is trying to get you to do. So, in this season, I just want to let you know, be careful what you pray for. Because God really hears your prayers. And you got to really sit with yourself and say, do I really want this? Or does it just look good? Do I really want a house like this person? Or is it just because other people are saying their house is nice? Do I really want to look like this other person? Or am I just okay with being the best version of myself because God created me one of one? Like, I'm not like nobody else. And I don't want to be anybody else. Do I want this position just because of the money? Or do I want it because it's really something that fulfills me? And I can make money doing it. Do I really want children, or am I just saying that because everybody's pressuring me to have children, or because other people are saying, yeah, you need to be a mom? Do you really want marriage, or do you just, all your friends are getting married, so you're saying you want to be married? Let me tell you, when God told me I was getting married, I wasn't just like, oh well, because of that, just because I was doubtful or anything like that. It's because I knew what it meant. When God said you'd be married, I knew that meant I had to respect this man at all costs. You know how hard it is to be respectful to someone all the time? Like, you really got to have that in your soul, that you know that we're not going to agree on everything, but I still have to respect this person. They may say something that hurts my feelings that I need to hear, but I still need to respect this person. Am I willing to be selfless? Because if you're a selfish person, maybe you don't need to be married, especially if God didn't put that on your heart. You really have to ask yourself, am I willing to be selfless? Can I respect this man at all costs, no matter what? Am I willing to be the type of woman that God intended for me to be for marriage? Because it does not just mean living a soft life, and may live a soft life. But it's not just about that. It is about you dying to yourself the way that Jesus did. Jesus set a great example of what true love really looks like. It looks like sacrifice, and it looks like the agape, kind of love. It looks like all of the loves that exist is in Jesus. And if you feel like you can do that for another person, then you're ready to be married. But if not, if you don't feel like you can be selfless, if you don't feel like you're willing to sacrifice anything for anybody else, giving up your favorite pair of shoes because you know that your family needs something else more, or that person needs something else more. Giving up your closet, like the closet that you didn't dreamed of, that you didn't position everything exactly like you want, or your craft room where all your beautiful things are and lights are positioned so great, and you got your little keg board up and your little bookshelf and everything in the right place. If you're not really ready to get rid of those things, then you're not ready. So really sit with God and be real with yourself. You don't have to lie. It's just you and God. You don't have to lie and pretend like you want something that you don't, just because other people want you to have it, or because you feel some type of way because they have it and you don't. You have to really desire those things in your heart. And it really has to be something God put on your heart for you in your life. So when you're praying, really think about it. Really, really read the word and meditate on it. Learn God's behavior so that you know how to move forward in your life. And everything is going to be fine. Just check be careful in the weather. Take care of yourself. Check on the people who you know don't have people looking out for them or whatever else. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have an amazing Saturday. Bye.